Exactly right. Excellent. Oh, sorry, by the way, Sam just started recording our call, if that's okay with everybody. If you feel like you would rather not show your video, feel free for the recording. But yeah, thank you for joining. It's just the hour. For me, it's 1 p.m. I'm in Halifax area in Nova Scotia, Canada, and my teammate Sam. Hi, Sam. Would you like to say hello?
Hi everyone. My name is Sam. I lead community support at Crew, and I'm really excited to be here with you all.
And Sam, it's Sam's based in Nairobi, Kenya, and as you can hear, he's somewhere with a lot of life happening, and he just got back from a trip, so he'll just join us in a mute. But for this call, I was thinking we would give folks just 5 more minutes, start at the 5 to see if anyone else is coming in. And the idea is, it's a small group conversation. We will record this and share with the rest of the Crew community. And, if you all want to share with the Euphrates community, that's great. And the idea is just to capture some of the best practices and wisdom that Euphrates has gathered through the years, and just make sure that folks in our network know about it. So while we wait, Rebecca and Whitney, I wonder if you would be okay just introducing you. I know we know your name and where you are, but if you want to share a little bit about what brings you to this call, or what's something you're interested in at this point in your life.
One thing we're interested in at this point in our life? Oh my goodness.
Is that a bad question?
Just one.
Yeah, just one. Well, I'm interested to hear this call. Happy to support Sylvia and Katie, and happy to meet the rest of you. Just always an opportunity to bring peace builders, peace thinkers, peace leadership together. So thank you for hosting this. This is great.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you connected with Euphrates? Are you in their fellowship?
I did participate in the PPA program, the first one in 2020. I'm also on the board for Euphrates.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just love the mission and the vision. So grateful to
Wonderful.
Bring everybody together. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your leadership with Euphrates as well. Yeah. And Whitney, hi.
Hi, nice to see you all. Sorry, my camera's off. It's been the morning. You don't want to see me. No. So I'm Whitney McIntyre Miller, and I am in Southern California. I'm a faculty member at Chapman University. And so I've been connected with Euphrates for, I guess, like 2.5 years now. It's hard to believe. But yeah, so I just love any opportunity I have to learn even more. I mean, I know a lot about Euphrates' work, I think, at this point in time, but I'm always learning more about what folks are up to, and kind of how programs are going. And so I just kind of like, whenever I can be a fly on the wall, I love to sort of join in and say hi. And I'm happy to always hear Katie and Sylvia talk about the work that they do, and just sort of am always fortunate to sort of be a Euphrates adjacent person. So
wonderful.
That's why I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. And Erin, I think that's you on the other Tally's account. Is that you?
No, it's Hollister, I think.
Oh, Hollister.
But I don't know why my name is coming up as your name.
That's so funny. I was like, is that Erin with my name, but with Euphrates?
No, but with Euphrates logo. I'm like, I don't know why I'm showing up as Tallis, but here I am.
Well, thank you for joining, Hollister. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Where are you joining from?
I'm in St. Louis this morning.
Nice. Excellent.
Yes.
Great. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And now there's Erin. Hi, Erin. We're just doing welcomes and going around introducing ourselves. If you're ready and willing to say hi.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, I'm Erin Rice. I'm Director of Operations at Crew, and I'm super happy to be here and to see you guys.
Thanks, Erin. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining. And good morning to you. Erin's joining in from Austin, Texas.
Mhm.
And we have a new friend joining, Oluchi. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Would you like to unmute and say hello, where you're joining from? What brings you to this call?
Hello, my name is
Lucy.
Oluchi. Hi.
Hi.
I'm joining from I'm joining from Nigeria.
Welcome all the way from Nigeria. Thank you for coming today. And are you a part of Euphrates? It seems like you are all very happy to see one another.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
You're a fellow with the Peace Practice Alliance?
Yes, I am.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
Welcome,
you. Thank you so
and
much.
I hope we get to hear a little bit about your work through the call as well.
All right.
Yeah, and hi, we also have, we'd like to welcome Wazei. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Could you?
Yeah. Hi, Wazi. I'm so excited to be here. Yes.
Where are you joining from?
I'm fine. Hi.
Thank you. You're
Wazi's
also
also in Nigeria.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Euphrates.
I'm from
Excellent.
Nigeria.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. Euphrates is truly representing today. Which is great. Well, it's '07, which we can officially, I think, begin. So thank you everybody for joining. My name is Thalis Apud Martinez. I'm from Mexico originally, but I'm based out of the East Coast of Canada now, and I'm the executive director for Crew. And we at Crew, as actually you all probably have a little bit of context, we are a tech nonprofit. We have built over the years an online platform that helps organizations like Euphrates to host and manage their programs and, you know, facilitate their curriculum, connect their communities, and really just be a place online where people who are working towards a shared mission offline in the real world can meet and convene. So it's a pleasure to have you all. And today is the first call of our wisdom sharing series that we call, which are an opportunity every month for Crew to feature and record. As also, just for the record, this call is being recorded as a parenthesis, and you know, if you consent to that and you'd like to show your video, that's awesome. But if not, no worries, just turn off your video. Parenthesis closed. But yeah, so this is our first call, and we're so grateful and so happy to be featuring Euphrates' work. We've been friends and really partners for such a long time. Euphrates was one of the first organizations that joined the Crew network, and we've evolved together, and we've changed. Our programs have changed, our models have changed, and it's just been such a privilege over the years to witness the ethos in which Euphrates operates, and the commitment of you guys and your team to respond to the needs of the world in creative ways and grounded ways, and to change as needed, which is, you know, I think in a lot of ways the calling of our times, right, is that a calling for evolution and responding to a world that's changing fast. So I look up to you guys, and yeah, so today we have, as you know, Katie and Sylvia will be sharing on behalf of Euphrates, and it's such a treat and such a joy to have so many of you all from Euphrates in the call, and my team at Crew. So with that said, I would like to to invite Sylvia and Katie to join in, and begin by just introducing, you know, Euphrates' mission and a little bit about yourselves, what brings you to this work, and yeah, it looks, Katie, you're unmuted if you would like to start.
Sure, I can jump in. Well, thank you so much, Talis. I just really grateful to be here. We love Crew so much. I mean, you guys truly, you said it, Talis, but I will just agree, it's been such a partner in this journey with us. And I was just remembering as you were talking about when I first was thinking about joining Euphrates, the very first thing our founder, and I'll give how this Euphrates came about, and I'll talk more about our founder in a few minutes, but she's like, well, we have this meeting with Crew 2030 at the time in Texas. Why don't you just come there?
Yeah, that's right. That was such a great first time to meet, and actually,
Yeah.
like, your team also came, right? Or did you come to Austin
the team.
twice?
I wasn't even on the team yet, but I just flew to Texas, and
That's
then
right.
I got to was surrounded by all these like incredible change makers, and like you guys were hosting this this retreat for us. It was awesome. So that's really fun to think about, like the evolution and where we've come since then.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you guys have been such an incredible partner in this journey. And so I love that you guys are hosting this place for shared wisdom, and in that spirit, we really believe that the wisdom comes from our community. And so I just welcome any of you on the call today to feel free to unmute and share. We're a small group, so that's awesome, and we can keep this super conversational. But since there will be people who are not here today that will be listening, I will let you know who Euphrates is. And we are a nonprofit organization based in the United States, but we have global representation from 40 countries around the world. Our mission is to equip, connect, and uplift peace builders worldwide. And so we do that through 3 main programs that we have. The first is the Peace Practice Alliance, and that's what we use Crew for All for the most. And you'll hear about that in a little bit. We also have a visionary program that we do, mainly through a Visionary of the Year award that comes out each year. And we also have workshops and community calls that meet once a month. And that's really an opportunity for anyone truly to get involved with Euphrates and be informed and inspired by peace builders around the world. So I'll introduce myself, and then Sylvia, I'll turn it over to you. So I am Katie Lunardelli. I'm based in Rhode Island. I am the executive director of Euphrates. My background is I come from a corporate social responsibility and human rights background, mainly in supply chains. And gosh, a couple years ago was trying to figure out sort of what my next step was. And the founder at the time, who's an old friend of mine, invited me to Crew's event in Texas, and the rest is history. So it's kind of a fun little connection there. And Sylvia, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Katie. And I'll echo everything Katie said. Thanks, Talis. And our programming wouldn't exist and like be what it is without Crew. So just couldn't be more grateful for your mind and brilliance and sharing. So it's means so much. So yeah, my name's Sylvia. My background is in conflict transformation and community development. I came to Euphrates in 2017 as a consultant, which continued for several years until I took on a full-time role in 2020. And I serve as the head of programs and strategy. So it's like the design, implementation, evaluation, evolution of our global programming and organizational strategy. But at Euphrates, we employ a collaborative leadership model. So each of us kind of have our own realm of the organization, but we very much support each other's roles and collaboration and how it all operates. But that's a little bit about me and how I got here.
Thank you both. And I want to take a minute to also welcome Chloe, who just joined. Hi, Chloe. Chloe, can you tell us just a little what organization you're joining with and where are you based?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I apologize for being a bit late, but it's nice to see everyone here. My name is Chloe Kund. I currently work for the Hunger Project, leading our Feel Good program and other youth engagement initiatives. And I am based in Philadelphia, just outside of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining, Chloe. Welcome. Welcome. And thank you, Katie and Sylvia, for your introductions. And I think it would be great to dive in a little bit deeper as you were saying earlier, for the folks who might be watching this video later, if you could share with us how Euphrates got started and what has the evolution been for the program, as we were mentioning earlier in this changing times. How has Euphrates responded to the world in the last few years?
Yeah, sure. So Euphrates was founded by Janessa Gans-Wilder, and she was a CIA agent working in Iraq doing counterinsurgency, and was not seeing a lot of progress in those efforts from our government, and was very inspired by the life-giving force of the Euphrates River that was flowing through the war zone at the time. And she has an incredible TED Talk, which is available on our website and other places as well, that you can check out and hear her story. The organization was founded really as this like bridge between US and Middle East. And the tagline at the time, and it still lives, is turning the other into sister or brother, and about really seeing the humanity and those we deem to be the other. And over the years, the organization has really expanded. There has been so much interest from, so many countries beyond the Middle East. And we have also expanded in sort of like our understanding of what peace leadership is. And I know Sylvia said she's going to quote Whitney, but we've really have based a lot of our current programming on Whitney's model of integral peace leadership, which has brought us to our current program of the Peace Practice Alliance, which is what we use the platform for. So that's a little bit of the background of the organization. Yeah, I'll stop there.
Thank you. Yes, Janessa, I will be sure to share Janessa's TED Talk as well with the community.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, it's a powerful story. And as Euphrates has grown through the years, you guys, as you're saying, have developed this Peace Practice Alliance and really fostered a community of peace leaders all around the world. And I was wondering if you can share with us a little bit about how Euphrates does that, how maybe through the fellowship or beyond, how is Euphrates convening and supporting peace leaders around the world, and in this climate today, like how do you find them, how do you bring them together, and what does that look like in action?
Yeah, I can speak a bit to that, and then Katie, and also just like anybody from Euphrates on this call, join in. So I could explain a little bit more about what the Peace Practice Alliance is and does, and then through that might answer some of the other questions built in. So the Peace Practice Alliance, shortened for short talk to PPA, is a 6-month virtual peace leadership program. And the goal is to cultivate and nourish communities of peace leaders. In our theory of change as an organization, we really believe that effective change happens from the journey of personal to global, personal, interpersonal, community, global, and connecting communities of communities. So that's really a ultimate goal, is to nourish these communities of peace leaders. So an international cohort comes together to collaborate through intensive learning and community building, exploring and developing peace leadership theories and practices. And so when we're saying peace leadership, what, as defined by Dr. Whitney McIntyre Miller, who we're super honored and privileged to have present with us on this call, is defined as a proactive, intentional approach of individual and collective action built through the interconnected development of skills and practices to challenge violence and aggression and create positive, just change. And so the model has 4 realms that, with permission, Euphrates has adapted to fit our theory of change a bit. And so we move from personal peace practice to interpersonal to community to global peace practice. And so in the PPA, we do that through 6 modules of program materials that guides participants through that journey of peace leadership and how to apply it in our work and lives. And so we do a deep dive in each realm of personal, interpersonal, community, global for 1 month each of those, and the theories and tools that make up that realm of practice. And then we take all 4 of those and explore how do we apply them at the same time? How do we hold all 4 together in the practice of peace leadership in our respective communities? Or even how do we hold like 2 or 3 of those realms at the same time? And then we conclude the program with deep reflection and evaluation, which, while those are integrated throughout the time of the 6 months, we have like an extended reflection space at the end. And so the program has academic and experiential materials infused throughout, and participants learn from each other as well as from practitioners in the field. We follow a model of what we like to say is inform, inspire, and transform for our program materials. So we have pieces that are in our inform space is more like academic headspace, readings and chapters and learnings. And then in inspire, it's more of like art and video, interactive material that tries to touch on the heart space. And then transform is hands-on, like experiential learning. How do we actually apply what we're doing? And so each module has those 3 realms. And then in addition to all of that material that's on the platform through Crew, we meet as a cohort 2 times a month. One for like a workshop space, and then once as a reflection space. And then at the conclusion, people apply that peace leadership practice that they develop and have already been in practice of, but maybe have just deepened, to an initiative in their community. And so now, after 3 years of programming, we have 78 alumni in 35 countries. And so we're really excited about them. We just keep growing. And for Talis, when you ask like, how do we find people? It's just like word of mouth. Like, it's just like kind of, I think of like, like little chat networks of like, and just word of mouth, spreading the word of how you connect people. I mean, we advertise the program for sure, but I think we started with speaking to that evolution of Euphrates. We used to have a chapters model. And so our first cohort was all of those chapter leaders, as well as then like a few additional folks that they invited in. And then from there, it just spread from word of mouth of their communities and friends. And it's just ever expanding in that way.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing and for presenting the model that you all use for the fellowship. And I think another question that comes to mind with that is what can you share some examples of fellows who have joined the program? Are they people who already have a project up and running, or they're joining to develop a project as a part of the fellowship?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have some folks on the call today, so I'd love to hear. Actually, it's great because when thinking of like, who are like phenomenal peace leaders, I mean, everybody's phenomenal, but like what are stories that we want to share for this call in particular? Wazi and Becky came to mind for me. So I was like super excited to see both of you here with us today. So I'll have you speak for yourselves, perhaps, if you're interested, but I'll share a few other like vignettes of folks who are in our community. So we have a mix. People come already doing like deep in their own work and are just coming for like a new perspective or deepening of practice, or looking for like a rejuvenation of motivation for their work. And then we also have folks who totally have no experience but have deep interest in peace building and want to get started and what that can look like more practically in their lives, or career pivot to peace building. And people span sectors and fields, and we've had people who have just like are in college and just getting started in a career, to people who are retired and trying to figure out like what's in their next phase of life, and everywhere in the middle. So we have like a really large spectrum of folks joining. Because at Euphrates, we very much promote like the everyday peace builder. Everyone is and can be a peace leader, and how do we just do that in our everyday lives? So our participants very much represent that. And so some folks that come to mind to share about are So we have this one young woman, Santoy, who's a young student in Myanmar, living through the coup right now in Myanmar and interethnic violence. And she participated in our program last year in 2021. And now she facilitates with her local group of students nonviolent communication workshops for internally displaced persons in Myanmar, and is doing that through like artful expression and how to use nonviolent communication as a tool for connection. We also have this one man, Emmanuel, who's a faith leader and peace leader living through active violent conflict in Cameroon. He organizes peace camps for youth, and since participating in the Peace Practice Alliance has graduated 3 cohorts of his own of peace leaders, and I know is getting ready for a 4th cohort of a peace camp. And another peace leader that comes to mind is Ahmad, who is a youth peace leader from Afghanistan and is the founder of his own peace building organization. He participated in our program in 2020 and then was inspired to use specifically the peace leadership model and infuse that into peace camps he was running in Afghanistan. And since the fall of Kabul last year, he's continued that work, but online. And so it's also been an inspiration of how to continue that work virtually, even with youth in Afghanistan. And so I think those are like some of the folks that we have in our community. And Becky and Wazi, if you were willing to share a little bit of what you're doing now and since the program, that would be amazing. And I will also share that just like into your question earlier, Talis, of how is it like supporting peace builders around the world. Becky and Wazi, obviously, I'd love to hear your takes on this. And through like evaluations and conversations, we've learned like a couple of standout pieces of the program are helping ground in personal peace practice. That's like foundational in our work in our peace practice. And that has been super helpful, and like the importance of it and how we do take care of ourselves, practicing that self-care, practicing radical self-care in community in particular, and then just offering tools and practices for what is peace leadership and what does this look like in our different contexts. We've heard that folks have increased confidence in their ability to be a peace leader and motivation for their work, and just this ongoing global community of practice, of encouragement, of care and support. And finally, we also offer like mini grants at the end of our program to launch or to deepen a project. And that's always of use, which Becky has launched an incredible project, and so has Wazi with that. And so there's no pressure, Becky and Wazi, but if you wanted to unmute and say something, you're welcome. But I'll stop there for now.
Okay, can I share?
Please.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Usually I'll say I'm a product of Ifrit Institute. Yeah, my new self, this new person is a product of Ifrit Institute. Yeah, I joined Ifrit. I was half broken and disorganized and kind of still carrying out some childhood scars with me. But then I found healing, most especially when the module 1, which is personal peace, getting to know yourself, and it kind of opened me and it created healing for me. And then after that, it built confidence to extend it to another person, which interpersonal peace comes in, and then global peace, community peace. And I discovered that I'm actually called to share my story with others, and to also share this peace with others, and to transform my community. And Ifrit Institute made it possible for me. I was able to also impart my community with the knowledge land here. And then I was also to work with women, advocacy against domestic violence on women and children in my community, / trauma healing. And Ifrit have actually, I never knew that I was going to do something like this. Yes, but I discovered it here. And then I got the support I needed to make it a reality here. Yeah, so thank you.
Wow, congratulations. And thank you so much for sharing. It sounds like quite a journey, right? Like going through internal healing to then come out into the world to share. I mean, what is there more intense than that, right? And the commitment to stick to it. And yeah, it's very inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing. And if we can, maybe after the call, Sylvia and Katie, we can loop back around to see if there's any of like links or things that we can share from Wazi's projects as well. So
yes.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Janessa has joined. Hi, Janessa, the founder of Euphrates is here.
Hi, Tally. Nice to see you and everyone. And I just caught the tail end of Wazi's remarks, but nice to be here. And sorry I'm late. My daughter was having a special Grandparents' Day concert in their classroom. So
oh, that's great. No worries. Thanks for
peace
joining.
for the little ones.
Yes, absolutely. And the grandparents.
Yes.
Thank you, Janessa. So Becky, not to put you on the spot, but Sylvia mentioned you also have a very cool project that maybe we should hear about if it's okay with you.
Well, just a few words just about the Peace Practice Alliance. I wasn't planning on being a part of the first year session. I thought, oh, well, that sounds interesting. And I kind of like, Katie, what's this all about? It's like, well, after this, like talking to Katie, it's like, Katie, can I be a part of this? I mean, she gave me such a sales pitch. I was like, why would I not want to be a part of this? You can never learn too much about yourself, about your community. You can never learn too much about how to help somebody else. This was just one more of that ripple effect. And that's the ripple effect is something that we talk often about in Euphrates. And Janessa, thank you for starting that ripple. Look at this ripple effect that all of us are embracing and being a part of, but it just keeps continuing and growing and reaching out to more people. And that's the whole idea of this community. And I just love this reason to get together today. Thank you. So yeah, it really, Euphrates is about togetherness and transformation to me. Those two words just sum up Euphrates for me and how this global community just keeps growing. When I was in that first class, Ahmad was part of that first class, and we were going around the screen introducing each other. It was like, Afghanistan, wow, this is kind of cool. Like Africa, great. You know, you just start seeing this sense of togetherness, and you're spread around the globe, about 18 time zones, it seemed like at one point. And since, even during that first time, I worked with Ahmad on several projects, just over the internet, over the phone, over the computer. Still have not met this dear young man and feel like kind of a brother-sister relationship. And Wazi, Aluchi, the same with you ladies. You know, I've never met you in person, but there's a sense of community and connectedness here. It's very, very special. There's a lot of things to say, but it's really the ripple effect that I just really want to highlight, that even from this call, look how these two organizations are coming together and the ripple is even broader. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Becky, and for your beautiful words. Reflection on Euphrates' impact in your life and what's inspired for you to enact, right, from your end, and build those relationships on your end as well. So that's so inspiring. So the next part of our conversation, I was wondering if we can hear some best practices. If there's say a way to summarize your top lessons from doing this work, from convening people through a fellowship program, what would you share for other people who run fellowship programs as well and could learn from your experience?
I'll let Katie start and then I'll follow.
You want me to start? Okay. Oh gosh, our best practices. Well, you know, one of the things that Sylvia and I were sort of talking about, you know, in just in preparation for this call of, you know, like, how do we really scale in this peace building work, and how do we really have an impact? And so much of that comes around like really being willing to collaborate with our partners. And in that, I was reminded of the difference between collaboration and cooperation, and that they're not the same thing. And that, you know, collaboration is really with like multiple parties working towards a common goal. And cooperation is, you can work alongside people, but you all kind of have your different goals. And, sort of coming from, my previous company, an organization that I was with, there's a lot of talk around collaboration, but what always stood in the way of that was a lot of egos. And I think in the nonprofit space, especially, organizations are continually defined by what makes them different, right? And so you get caught up in this thing of like, well, you have to kind of keep yourself separate and different and special in order to stand out, in order to get that funding, in order for people to be like wanting to be a part of it. And what's really needed in this peace building space is true collaboration, where we're willing to like step back from like our agenda, our ego, our needing to be like special and different, and really being able to be like transparent and honest about like what's working, what's not working, where our growth points are, where our blind spots might be, for true collaboration. So that's kind of like a, sort of like the big picture stuff. There's much more like, tangible, lessons learned as we've been like navigating the platform and how to use it and from our community. But I'll leave it at that, and I'll turn it to Sylvia to talk more about like the lessons from our community.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's so crucial. And then taking that big picture, and then how does that like play into how we foster like deep connections while expanding and widening our circle, and always being open to expanding and widening our circle. I mean, one thing is like on this call alone, it just feels so representative of the support of and how we like build movement and community of that. Like we have alumni from 2 cohorts with a staff member and 2 partners and a founder, like all of like the community shows up. And I think that's like one of the practices is just like simply showing up is like a huge lesson learned. And how do we do that virtually for each other? How we show up on Zoom calls, how we just show up for like a WhatsApp check-in, and just show up for people in different ways and show that deep ongoing practice of community care is huge. And so like, thank you everybody here for like showing up for even just like from like the little to the big things. Like that is actually genuinely a like practical practice that can feel not like a big deal, but it's a huge deal. It's small yet significant. And then two practices that I want to point out that we also do. One is we have for our program what we call a learning committee. So, so often we hear the phrase like a steering committee, but ours isn't like necessarily steering and guiding what it is. We use the words learning committee because they keep us accountable and keep us in a learning mindset of like when we're moving through the program, what is everybody noticing? What are observations, and how can we use that to improve and to learn about each other and the community and evolve together? So we have a learning committee that comprises of some members of our leadership team. It has alumni from the program, and then it also has partners of the organization. It's about anywhere from like 7 to 10 people based on the year and availability, and they join. They join the platform. They're welcome to all of our calls. They sometimes serve as facilitators on the calls. And then we do additional calls outside of the program time just to check in and hear what are everybody's reflections of the experience happening. And that's been crucial for like what Katie was saying, like what are our blind spots as a team? It's crucial to have so many different eyes on an experience. And also then they act as like anchors of support for participants and for the team throughout the experience and then afterwards. And it's just continuing to expand and widen that circle while also like giving deep collaboration and support. So the learning committee has been like a crucial way to movement build in that way. And then a practice and a phrase that we've learned from an organization called Catalyst for Peace and Fumble Talk is inviting people into leadership. And so like while we have our leadership team that runs the program and manages the platform and all of that, we invite people into the cohort each year and our alumni into leadership of like people do intros and closings of our calls each time, or people are welcome to, so like we've had alumni and partners and others do presentations or be our workshop guests. So like the knowledge isn't coming from us, it's coming from the community. There's a specific space dedicated on our platform for resources from the cohort themselves to like anything they're encountering in their lives or they want to share. There's a space on the platform for them to build that into our curriculum and into our program materials. So much of our program has come from that evolution of who from around the world we have it participate and then what they're sharing. And so giving everyone the space and inviting that co-ownership from the start of like, this is not just a Euphrates program. This is like just an experience for all of us. It's like that shared practice. We're just holding the space for it. And so inviting people into leadership in that, I think, is huge. And then also just as we're moving through the experience, practicing ourselves what we actually doing peace leadership in our lives. So like the whole program is about peace leadership. How do we actually own that and practice what our program is about in our daily happenings as an organization? So like once a month, for example, we have a personal peace day where we invite ourselves and the whole community to just take the day to tend to what you need for your personal peace. And that's not just that day, that's every day, but we like set aside a specific day for that. We start all of our meetings as an organization, but then also in our Peace Practice Alliance with a moment of quiet and grounding. And then as an organization, we invite a moment of gratitude sharing. And in the program, I wish we had the time for gratitude every day, but we invite voices into the room through like, what are you feeling in a given moment at the start of a call and at the end of the call? So it's like kind of like a check-in of where you're at. And just holding each other accountable to like deep collaboration, transparency, and difficult conversations. Those are, yeah, I'll stop there and invite anybody else to Hollister to jump in, Becky, Wazi, or Janessa, or Lucci, or Whitney. Like literally anybody can jump in on that question, really.
Thank you. Yeah, you dropped a very, in a very succinct way, like this, a lifetime worth of exploration, right? Of like, just engage with personal peace, difficult conversations, and conflict resolution. I love it. Thank you, guys. Katie, I noticed you
I'll
unmuted.
I'll also add one other sort of like, best practice, if you will, or just not even best practice, but just like sort of tangible thing that we've learned that I would say too, is like connecting it to the platform use is that there is, so in the theme of the call, which is like this wisdom, coming from the community, like there is so much wisdom coming from the community, and that platform really can like, because of the flexibility and use, you can really capture it. But that said, it really takes time to like cultivate that from the team. And so like that's one of our learnings too along the way, is that we really needed to make time to like read those reflections on the platform and like respond. And that's how sort of that like, just that sort of like the cultivating and nurturing of the community it's just so important. But like recognizing that that's like actually a piece of the job, and that's actually a piece of the program is doing that. But yeah, so that's just hopefully connects like the theme of the call and also like the use of the platform. There's just like so much potential there.
Yeah, really efforting all the time to show up and make that time for sure.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for adding that, Katie. And actually, I would like to ask Sylvia if you would share with us your platform and share with us just a short demo of what does your content look like online? How do you use the tool to facilitate this sharing that you're mentioning and that showing up?
Yeah, absolutely. So is this thumbs up? You can like see the screen okay, along with like, classic. We all have all of our other tabs open. See what I'm exploring on the side. So this is our dashboard on the platform. At the top, we have our group. So every cohort so like the main cohort, this is for 2022, our last program. So this was their dashboard. And then once a group completes the program, we move all of their content into a private group. So we have a group for the 2020 cohort to keep connecting and access their material, as well as the 2021 cohort and our learning committee as well. And so on our dashboard, we have like an onboarding section. There's a track for each module moving from personal, interpersonal, community, and global peace practice. Module 5 is our leading and integrating our peace practice. That's like how all 4 realms come together. And then we end with reflection and action. And then we have additional things. So those those open up once we hit that point in the program. So these aren't all on the dashboard all at once during the program. We like start with just the onboarding, and then we open up module 1 and so forth. And we've learned that, you know, life happens while you're doing a virtual program. And so maybe you don't finish all of module 1 when we open module 2. So module 2 is not like contingent on finishing module 1. We just open it up and then people can just keep moving through the material as they need to. And then the other things that we just have always standing on the platform dashboard are foundation information, which has like schedules and logistics and like the cohort contact information. We add all of the call recordings to a track, and then also add like notes and links and things that were shared on that call. We just in this past cohort started what we called a BITAC space. BITAC means to sit and discuss. It means like lounge, gathering. And so that was an informal call once a month that the cohort would come together for like coffee and tea time and just get to know each other casually. And so that was a space that we documented those calls and whatever was shared in those spaces. And then, like I mentioned earlier, each cohort is welcome to just share their own resources of what they're finding inspiring. And some of those we integrate into a module itself, and others we just have them add it to shared resources. And so to show actually what like a module looks like on our platform, I'll click over here. I'm going to go to our overview. So our overview, we always try to have like some sort of relevant quote and image, and then we have the purpose of the module and the objectives, and then we offer a suggested flow of what we recommend is like the way to move through the material. But of course, everybody is welcome to move through it however they wish and however the pace they want, and not all of it is required. Some components of the module we make required. So when we go to the other screen, you'll see like what's high priority and what's not. And so each one we offer a starting point, which is kind of just like a grounding in the module and what we're about to enter. We have the inform, inspire, transform like flow. And so we always have like 4 to 5 inform pieces, which are like readings with reflections. And then we have each week, so like every Monday, a new inspire piece comes out. And we found that to be a helpful practice of when, you know, you're in a virtual program, you're just doing your own life. And then it's like, so when are you getting, like, you have to remember to go to the platform and do it. And so we just try to like gently, the inspiration is like a gentle way to like keep bringing people back to the platform each week, and reminder of like, hey, you're in this community and this is like part of what you're doing, like the experience right now. And then we have a transform activity, and we have a discussion thread where while on each action, somebody can have like add a reflection that's specific to that action. The discussion thread is where like the bulk of conversation happens. And then we have a diving deeper section, because we recognize that we can't provide in like inform pieces everything about personal peace practice. And even on a diving deeper section, we can't provide everything about personal peace practice. But in each module, we just try to add a lot of additional material of what people can explore. And then the cohort calls is just like our schedule. And then each module has a reflect and evaluate space. And so that's like just for reflection on learnings of the module itself. And then we ask everybody to evaluate the module. And so it's not and something that always kind of gets like a laugh from a cohort is that we're not evaluating their knowledge, they're evaluating us and how like the module was. So it's like, that's part of our learning of how do we improve module to module, the experience for participants. I'll just kind of click on this so you can see what some of the actions actually look like. So some are given in multiple parts. Some are just like readings with links. And anytime we have a reading, we also give the chapter and summary. So we offer, if it's a kind of like a too long didn't read, if you can't access the reading for any reason, for internet issues, if it's too difficult to download, if you just don't have the time, but you're curious, we always offer a summary and like key points of the reading. And then sometimes we offer a prompt for people to reflect on, and sometimes not. Some of them are videos that are built in. And yeah, so that's like kind of our general flow. And then like the reflect and evaluate, we also like the form is like embedded here that for easy access. So that's kind of like a brief overview of a module.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, you know, it's such a, it can seem like a small detail, but those weekly emails that you send to your community to continue to guide where you're at in the program, what's next, that you're a part of, you know, the fact that we are a part of things, and just to keep people engaged. I find that to be one of like the best subtle things that have a big impact in keeping a cohort engaged. So I always give you guys as an example when I talk to other fellowships.
Oh, thanks. You were a huge help in shaping this. So
excellent. Thank you. And I, you know, we are 10 minutes from time, and this is a good chance to just open up the floor to see if anyone has questions for Sylvia and Katie, or you know, there's a big Euphrates community in this call. If there's any additional insight you want to bring into the conversation, feel free. So, you know, if you would like to participate, unmute yourself or do the hand raise reaction. I saw, Aaron, you had a logistical question earlier on the chat. I don't know if you would like to voice that.
Yeah, just for people who might watch this later, who are curious about how to apply, or if there's a selection process, or if you have to have some kind of like credentials or experience or something to join the program, just the logistical stuff about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So criteria for, or like eligibility criteria, I guess, is pretty simple. We do just ask for like interest and or experience in peace building, or like curiosity in peace building. That's like really the main, honestly, criteria. And then we do say that comfortability with English. So that is defined on an individual's own terms. The whole program is run in international English. And so people can decide for themselves what their comfort is in participating in something with that. And so those are really our only main criteria. We do have an application form, and then from the application form, we do have an interview process. And so there is like a several step selection process. Yeah. And so for the 2023 cohort, we will have an information session about the program in October, and then the application will open in November and interviews in December. So it, yeah, and then the new cohort starts in January 2023. So more to come.
Awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
And I'll also mention, because the PPA is really open for all, and we would love to see as many applicants as possible. If you're not able to sort of commit to a larger program and are interested in getting involved with Euphrates, we do have community calls that are the first Wednesday of each month. And so we have like a different theme, and it's an opportunity to connect with our community. And usually we, you know, there's opportunities for small breakouts and meeting people from around the world, and we'll have a guest speaker. It doesn't always run in that format, but that's it's really an opportunity to just see what we're all about. So, and you can just if you sign up for our newsletter on our website, you'll get the information on our community calls.
Yes, and just a shout out to the newsletter. It's just the best newsletter. I mean, I love getting this newsletter every month. I mean, it's just so beautifully written and it's inspiring. So
Yay,
everyone
Hollister.
should register for the newsletter.
Hollister is on, who does our newsletter.
Amazing.
So
Thanks,
with a little heart.
I just wanted to chime in briefly, just because this is just so fun to have everyone on this call, because, and Katie mentioned, the importance of true collaboration, because it was Crew who really modeled that. I mean, we need leaders in that space, especially the nonprofit space, to model what that looks like and feels like. And you all, Tally, and bringing all the nonprofits together. Here's this amazing tool for free. How can I support you? How can I help you? When can we have a call? Like, it was a true modeling of selfless collaboration for no other aim than mutual good and helping these nonprofits, succeed in their work to help people. And so the ripples go out. And then Sylvia, to just see the tool and the program and how it's being used after it was like put on hold for so long, that we know we want to do something powerful with this tool, we don't know yet. And then to see how it's evolved is just really exceptional and heartwarming. It's not just, it is an exceptional tool, but it's just a beautiful and heartwarming tool. And then just to see the collaboration at work here between these two organizations and all the ones that you support. So thank you, Crew, for all that you've done to really model that for many of us.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you so much, Janessa. That's very kind, and it takes one to know one, or know whatever the expression goes. But right, like clearly this is in Euphrates' DNA, and yeah, you guys are doing the same, right, and with the communities you bring together. So thank you. It's great full circle. Anyone else would like to share, ask a question?
I have a question. I'm curious how frequently your cohorts meet or communicate, not just on the platform, but doing group calls and things like that. And do you find that they're highly engaged, or how do you respond to the yearning for community and engagement from your cohorts, or what do you have in place to bring them together?
Yeah. So we have, in addition to the discussions on the platform, twice a month, we have Zoom calls for the cohort. One is a workshop and style, and one is more of like a reflection style. And to facilitate that reflective space, we have what we call harvest groups. And so it's harvest groups titled that way for like the idea of like harvesting learnings that are coming from the group. And so those are usually, our cohort is about 30 people, and those are then smaller groups, the harvest groups. And they meet, on that second call. We have a WhatsApp group that is the full cohort. Well, in 2020, every year we're like adjusting and adapting the program, like tweaks in little bits. So every year it's a little different. Like in 2021 and 2022, we had WhatsApp groups based on harvest group. And then we tweaked that for 2022 to be like the whole cohort's in one group, we're all together. And that has proven to be like a super useful tool in keeping connections alive. And if somebody isn't able to join, a Zoom call because of internet connection, we've had people like Becky has facilitated a harvest group and like been on WhatsApp with somebody and brought their voice into the harvest call. And so there's just like different tools that we try to get creative and like having people have access and bring their voice. And then every module, we try to have some component that encourages people to connect outside. So like the transform activity involves some sort of connection. And so like in module 2 on interpersonal peace practice, we assign listening partners where people have to connect one-on-one and listen to each other for 30 minutes uninterrupted on a call, and they can connect however they want, but that happens outside of like scheduled programming time. And in module 3 for community peace practice, they have to develop a workshop about community peace practice together, and that's on their own time. And that has mixed participation, I would say. Throughout the cohort, we have like great engagement. And then for those smaller group things, there's always a few people who are like, I can't get a response out of people. Like, what do I do? And that's just like part of like everybody's in full-time school or a job or just has like other life circumstances happen. and also like technology access super varies, which we do try to support technology access across the cohort in various ways, but that engagement shifts. And so we just also try to tailor, one on case by case, like bring people into different groups, or that's part of like the team showing up is then like, I'll be like, great, I'll be your listening partner. Let's do it. And just like jump in different ways. So hope, I'm happy to follow up on any of that if that doesn't answer your question totally, but those are some ways.
Thank you. Thanks, Chloe, for your question. Well, we're at time. I don't know if anyone has a question, if we can stay a little longer, or how we're feeling with the call. Katie and Sylvia, are you right? Do you have something right away?
Just a lot of gratitude.
No, we're good. If there's any other questions, I think we can stay on. Otherwise, super grateful for this space, and just wanted to echo Janessa in that you guys have just really modeled this spirit of collaboration for us. So thank you.
And also, if anybody who listens to, anybody on this call, obviously you all can reach out anytime, but you already do. The folks listening to the recording, also happy to like connect and chat and like learn across how we're all using Crew. I know Alice and Aaron and Sam, you make a lot of space for that already, and just want to echo that we're open for it and here for it. So happy to chat.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the offer. Oluchi, I noticed that you unmuted. I don't know if you wanted to participate.
Yes, I unmuted. I want to participate, but I don't want to answer a question. I just want to share my experiences with the Euphrates Institute, especially in the PPA program. I came into PPA as in just the way I am, and as time goes on, throughout the 6 months, I was able to gain knowledge about peace building. And the most amazing thing about it is that I was able to transfer it to the younger ones. I work with children and girls, teenage girls. But recently, because of my knowledge that I got and experiences in PPA, I was able to transfer it to the children, and I was able to start a peace building academy for children. Now, what I actually did in all is that I was able to take everything that I got from PPA program, and I brought it down to their level so that they will be able to understand. So right now we're having our first cohort, and we're doing so amazing work in the program, in the academy, the peace building academy, and the children. They are also the participants. We call them participants. Then in the peace building academy, they're able to know where they got the resources, where we are having to pass the knowledge to them, which is from the PPA, the Euphrates Institute. So it's like it's a younger part of the Peace Practice Alliance program, but is majorly for children that is from 8 years to 12 years or thereabouts. So I'm actually using my experiences that I got in our PPA program to pass it down to the younger ones. And we keep on growing and growing and growing. And very soon we'll be graduating the first set of cohorts, and we'll be starting another set of cohorts, just like what we do in the Euphrates Institute. And it's an amazing program, is an amazing experience working with the children and trying to help them to build a practice of peace just from the knowledge gathered in PPA. So I'm so excited to be part of the Peace Practice Alliance. I'm excited. In fact, I don't just know how to express my feelings, but I'm just excited I got to know the Euphrates Institute.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Oluchi. And what a great program. What a need, right, that you're feeling in translating and creating materials for children to begin that practice in their youth. It sounds so great. I feel like it would be great to see this, to like see the the document, the program that you're sharing, I feel like from religious organizations to even just from the network within Euphrates and Crew, it would be a fun conversation. I think I'll follow up on that with, I'll get your email from Sophie and Katie and see if like, you know, if the Crew platform could benefit. I know that you're working with children probably in person, so not necessarily for the kids, but if in the future you're interested in documenting and sharing the curriculum you're building and your materials, I think it would be, even as a parent, that I'm very interested in learning from what you've put together. Yeah, amazing.
All right, so that'll be great.
Good. Yeah, we'll follow up. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Lucia. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to share something. Yeah. The emphasis is on the learning committee. Yeah, I just observed something, and or not just observing, I said it just dawned on me the impact. I was privileged to be part of the learning committee for 2022. And then I just want to thank Ifirate again. It's an appreciation. And I never knew the impact of the learning community. I never knew that it was this extent like that. It's like it brought me out of my shell, and like I'm just coming from, I just joined the group after joining the greenhouse cohort, and then I discovered that in all the breakout section, I keep being nominated to facilitate the group. And then after the group, they'll keep nominating me to like share with the main group. And then I was doing okay. And then I was like, where is it coming from? And I just went back to the learning committee. It kind of built me up. And then I'm so grateful for learning committee. Yeah, it's also a tool, it's a powerful tool for like bringing in the best in you and building your confidence and the rest. Thank you, Ifrit.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It is such a gift, right? To find those opportunities to be in touch with who we are and what we have to contribute and our voice and our leadership. And yeah, what a great testament to Euphrates, right? That your tools and your program and the community, right? Everybody's building each other up. It sounds like it's not a top down, it's not like a magical, you know, yeah, like thing that you read and now you get it, but it's just this community building itself up and sharing and yeah, carving a path for the personal and the community, right? I think, you know, I think what's coming up for me in this call, or like some of my top learnings right now, are just the reminder that social change goes in hand with personal change, right? Social transformation and personal transformation, and go hand in hand. And in part, that feels to me hopeful, because there is at least the personal that we can control and that we can act on. And sometimes if the problems of the world feel too large, or they're on a, you know, on a momentum that might feel like the timeline for resolution is longer than we feel good about, you know, in the personal, at least we can come back to that and know that that does make a change, and it adds up to, you know, the evolution of our species and our human family. And the second one is this thought that I think or dilemma that I come across a lot with organizations we work with, of growth, this like relationship that we have with growth in organizations and companies and everything, right? This like we project onto ourselves this belief that we got to grow endlessly, infinitely, you know, and that is what's best. And I feel like when we are working in communities like Euphrates, even for us in Crew, I think that's something that we come back to a lot, and a lot of the organizations we work with, is that that seeking equilibrium might be a healthier goal than seeking endless growth, and what does equilibrium look like for each organization. And I just love that the work that you guys do in your Frades, right? Which, I mean, and maybe if you have time, I would love to hear if you thought about this question and how you hold it. But I feel like there is just so much richness and transformation that happens in small groups, in cohorts, right? When you close a program, not for exclusivity, but for focus and for community building, it just seems like the results that your community gets are just profound from a personal perspective and profound from a community perspective. And, you know, what more can success be than that, right? In my eyes, at least, or in my, where I'm at. So anyway, but I don't want to just say that, but I do mean it for anybody. Have you guys thought about this question, if you have the time, and how do you feel about it, or how do you hold it?
Yeah, I think we think about it all the time. And especially every year when it's like, okay, how big is the cohort going to be? Because also every year for this program, for Peace Practice Alliance, I mean, okay, so we've run it 3 years, but each year the application size has more than doubled,
Wow.
and which is amazing. It's beautiful. And then it's like, okay, but then how do we narrow it down to, you know, I'm a huge advocate of no more than 30. I'm even actually a huge advocate of no more than 20, but I've been twisted to expand that number a little bit, and I happily do, because we wouldn't have met all the amazing humans that we have. But yeah, I do think there's intention in that small size, and we're always asking the question of like, okay, do we like expand that number? Do we do 2 cohorts a year? But then it's like a year-round initiative. Do we do 2 at once? Do we do X number at once? You know, it's always this question of like, do we replicate this in smaller forms, etc. And I think we ask the question while taking it slow. And so we're like opening the possibilities and thinking about them, but I'm also definitely an advocate of like moving slowly through it. And really, I think something I've learned from Katie and Hollister, and language, speaking of like semantics and language being really important in what we do, I've really opened up to like the verb of really listening for what's right. And I think the 3, like us and the organization in general in the community, really embrace like listening for what is right. And I think we do that individually and collectively, and that allows us to like keep asking questions. And you know that what is it, the Rilke quote of like, you keep asking the questions, eventually you'll live your way into the answer. And I think we do that in practice of just keep asking the questions and living the questions, and moving slowly, and how we build that out. But yeah, I appreciate your framing of keeping it small for like focus and connection, because that's such a core part of what we do. And then I think the beauty of like where the expansion and like scale comes in is that while the communities can be small, it's like making those, so much of the work we do is connecting the communities and building communities of communities. And it's like that connection of, so like the communities can be small, but they're connected. And what's that work? So that does, yeah, there's so, oh my gosh, Talis, I could talk to you about this.
Let's have another call about this dilemma and hear from other organizations. Yeah, I love that. I love your listening for what's right too. I think being in touch with the intuition of the self and the organization is, yeah, it's beautifully put. Thank you. Katie, did you unmute to share a little bit as well?
Well, I was going to share, but Sylvia said it so well. I don't think really don't need to add. I'll just say the most difficult thing is saying no to some of the applicants that we get for the Peace Practice Alliance. That is probably one of the most challenging parts. And every year we're like, how do we not have to say no? So I appreciate you, Talis, saying that it's like having it small allows for the focus, because there is strength in that, and there is that feels very intentional. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. And then I think also that's paired with like, then it makes community calls that we have. It's like, we try to always think of like, what's the something for everyone? What's the like, if you're really deep level of commitment, what is the like, you can give this much effort, you could give this much effort. Like you could read a newsletter once a month, or you could join our calls once a month, or you could do a 6-month program, or you could do this with us. So it's like, how do we understand different levels of engagement and what somebody is willing to do and offer, and try to, without exhausting ourselves and without creating too much breadth without depth, just how do we give so many opportunities for engagement? And the community calls are like a great space for that. And I see Hollister advertising the one next week in the chat. But that's like a really open, great space for like wide community without
I see. Yeah, that's for anyone is what you're saying. Yeah, I get you. I love that. Yeah, thank you. We should I don't know if you guys share that the community calls on the Crew opportunities newsletter, but that's a good one to share too. It's great. Well, we're 15 minutes in. Thank you so much. I'm reminded about just how fun it is to be with you, to have conversations with you. I feel like there's a follow-up call here somewhere to dive into these questions that I think every nonprofit leader wrestles with and is presented with often, from sometimes even starting from fundraising pressures and so on. But yeah, I'm so grateful to have been here with you. I'm grateful to all of our participants for joining us today, and for all of the work that you do in your communities and in your personal lives. It's just truly uplifting and a privilege to be in touch with hope every time that it can happen, and I feel hopeful in knowing each of you and about your commitment, and just the knowing that it always adds up. All of that work adds up globally and keeps us moving forward. And yeah, so I think we'll share this recording. We have another our next Wisdom Series call is coming up on October 27th, and it will be focused on mobilizing youth to be active participants in democracy, which is another, important and urgent topic. We have some great partners who do work in that area, so we'll be sure to share with you all if you're interested in joining. And yeah, thank you. Erin, Sam, any closing words?
Super grateful to have been here. I'm grateful for everyone and the work you do. Just gratitude. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Crew.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Keep up the good work.
You too. Take care.
Wonderful. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.